As he stepped out of the VVIP lounge of the posh bar in Lekki, class exuded in his carriage, dressed in a custom-fitted white linen outfit Lano was wearing as he walked towards his car. Good-looking and intelligent, he looked like the ideal man, charming personality, polite and God-fearing. This wasn't his typical hangout, but the friend was having a small bash for one of his too numerous to count babes. He noticed quite a bit of staring in his direction. Tall with an imposing muscular frame, broad shoulders and a light body complexion. His body was the type that had the ladies drooling. He had chilled alone in his seat, sipping champagne and enjoying the ambience of the scenery. He looked down at his brown leather vintage Rolex. He unconsciously patted his pockets, feeling for his Barclays and Bank of America credit cards. The GT Bank card was in the other pocket with a couple of wads of dollars. It's just in case anything happens cash. With a bald head that had started developing some years after his graduation from the University of Port Harcourt, he hadn't always been so good looking. However, the kind of money he had access to now had transformed him into a handsome man. His current baby was a 2022 Range Rover Sport bought in the UK and shipped to the US for advanced customization. He had the full interior of the car fitted in a simple black, except the speedometer, which was chrome, the whole exterior bulletproofed, and low-profile tires and nothing short of all black rims. The logo chromed into the dark center of the steering wheel and his plate number read simply, Lano. He had special lights of dark grey installed in different places, making it look like the futuristic car that it is. A dark grey as the outline, making it look very dark. One punch of a button changed the passenger seat into a comfy slim-sized bed, and the already tinted glasses, windscreen and rear view became totally black. As he made his way out, a caramel, exquisitely dressed lady walked up to him, introducing herself. "Hi, Leonard." He paused, looking back, replying with a, "Hi, have we met before?" He asked. "My name is Nikki," she replied. "We have been watching you for a while. A few years actually. We've been monitoring your progress from the days of vandalizing pipeline into 50-liter containers to stealing with drums to full 33,000-liter trucks." She continued, moving closer, unperturbed by her little monologue. Lano asked her, "Are you with the JTF? What exactly do you want from me?" She smiled and replied, "I am not with the law enforcement, not at all. I'm here to offer you something you would love. On a silver platter, I'm here to offer you the big league. Alhaji Hassim has an interest in you. He wants to meet you." Repeating the name silently to himself, he took a moment to process it. Alhaji Hassim was currently the richest Nigerian, off the records of course. No one can tell you specifically where he is. In fact, people who have met say they met him on his new 113-feet Sunseeker Predator 115 that docked at the Benin Republic. You can only see him if he asks to see you. People don't know who Alhaji Hassim is because he is invincible. You only hear his name mentioned in privileged circles. Some people say the man is a myth. He sure exists. In fact, he was a lord in our field. He boasts of his stake in Chelsea FC, second only to the billionaire Roman Abramovich. He's got someone fronting for him on the Chelsea board. I had always wanted to join the big leagues. No one in our field of work was poor, ever, Lano always thought. Alhaji Hassim is sitting at the top of the big league pyramid with business dynasties and hotel chains all over the world. He toppled governments around Africa from his 14 KT gold-plated table on his yacht. It amazes me how he manages to stay anonymous. Some people say his name is an alias for some rich politician. Alhaji Hassim would like to speak with you. Lano brought himself back to reality. Nikki walked to the passenger side of Lano's car. As Lano sped off, a black Toyota Corolla with 3 hefty-looking men trailed him, giving him just enough gap not to suspect anything. Chike was sitting in the middle row of the conference room, a cozy room with about 15 other JTF agents. The conference room was in a hotel in a highbrow area of Abuja. The JTF had just received the mandate by the president to investigate oil bunkering activities in the whole federation. This time, the president has given full carte blanche to go as deep as the rot is. The projector was displaying a slide with information about the depth of the scourge, while the facilitator was pacing around the front of the projector, giving in-depth information about the menace. Available statistics show that in 2001 alone, illegal bunkering accounted for a revenue loss of about $30 million, and by 2003, the figure had soared to about $1 billion. By 2008, the figure leaped to about $50 billion. In 2023, Nigeria is losing about 900,000 barrels of crude oil daily to illegal bunkering. Chike was assigned to the JTF from the army. The leader of the special forces redrafted to the JTF. He had a long, distinguished career with the Nigerian army. Chike was in charge of strategy for about 5 troops, further subdivided into 100 men per troop in Darfur, Sierra Leone, Liberia, and several other peacekeeping missions in Africa. He did a couple of consultancy jobs for the UN. No one would believe that the 37-year-old Chike, with an imposing frame of over 6 feet tall, ruggedly handsome look with a baritone voice, was the one with this reputable and impeccable record. Chike joined the NDA immediately after secondary school. His uncle, who became a guardian after his father died when he was just 9 years old, became his only family. Chike's uncle could spot how intelligent little Chike was. He was always very coordinated and calculated, but a troubled soul at a very young age. Chike was always in one trouble or the other in his younger years. In retaliation for his stubbornness, his uncle registered him for the NDA exams so he could go and express his anger in the army, which seemed like punishment at the time. Chike became an instant hit at the academy, excelling in hand-to-hand combat, tactics, as well as intelligence work. He was top of his class, only second to Hamza Mustafa's record at the NDA. At the end of his school, he was sent abroad with a couple of other brilliant soldiers to Israel, Germany, France, and Latvia for different advanced combat tactics and war strategy courses. His first official assignment was at peacekeeping in Sierra Leone. He led an effective and organized squad that was awarded the best troop. He got offers from the CIA and FBI to be a consultant, but turned it down for patriotic reasons. Moreover, the Nigerian army would never allow him to do that. This conference will be over in 20 minutes time, he said to himself as he looked at his G-Shock wristwatch. He was having an internal battle caused by the hunger that was eating away his tummy. He was saying to himself, I have led men to covert operation, got medals of honor from UN, won the Soldier of the Year award several times, and I'm being disgraced by hunger. He laughed to himself as the conference was dismissed. He was about to leave when an envelope of his new assignment was handed to him. He collected it, opened it up as he walked to the cafeteria. He found a couple of keys that seemed to include office keys, car keys, and other unknown ones. He also found his office address, his team members, and his chief commanding officer. He flipped the page to view the profiles of his team members and finally got to the last page that had the picture of a guy with the name Lano Reese underneath it. Before heading to the cafeteria, he walked to the car park to see what car was assigned to him. He pressed the remote control attached to the key, and the car at the back of the lot beeped. He walked slowly to the car with enthusiasm. He pressed the button on the remote again, and it was a black Volkswagen Passat. He opened the car, opened the glove compartment, dumped the envelope into it, and closed the back. He ran his hand underneath the passenger seat beside the driver and found the casing for a silver 9mm handgun. He pushed it back and proceeded to the cafeteria. Chike continued dwelling on the new assignment as he walked to the cafeteria. The new assignment specified Lagos, which meant he would have to check on his uncle. Chike knew checking on his uncle would be horrible for him, but not checking again wasn't an option. After dedicating his life to the military, his uncle's family was the only family he had. The question of when he would get married would come up, who he was settling down with and all. He didn't have an answer now, but he would have to think up something. Another thought of the Lanoris guy came up in his mind, asking himself how best to approach the new assignment. Few hours later, Chike was heading back to his hotel room at the Transcorp Hilton as soon as he got off Ahmadu Bello, driving the newly assigned car. Chike was moving slowly at 60 km per hour, trying to enjoy the beautiful engineering of the Volkswagen Passat, cruising to enjoy the neighborhood and the Abuja road, when all of a sudden, a car came out of nowhere and bashed his car in a head-to-head collision, destroying the front of the Volkswagen Passat. The car that bashed him was a grey Toyota Camry. From the collision, Chike guessed the other car was probably doing around 140 km per hour. The front of the car was horribly damaged. The bonnet of the Camry had folded up almost into the windshield. Chike was feeling horrible even though the airbags deployed. His own windshield broke. The car was beeping some kind of sound. He looked up out of the broken windshield. He saw 3 huge guys step out of the car, wearing black face masks, also carrying guns. They wanted to find out the position of the driver, if he was dead or if they would need to finish him off with the handguns and silencers in their hands. The roads were deserted. It was almost midnight. While being seriously scratched by the accident, he stylishly took out his 9mm from the passenger seat beside him. He put his head on the deployed airbag facing his own door. The 3 guys moved closer to him. With his head already covered in blood, he felt a sharp pain in his neck. One of the guys opened the door while the rest stayed a bit away. They stayed at the front of their own car. As the first guy opened the door, Chike had the 9mm on his laps and his hand on the trigger. He was faking unconsciousness. He shot the guy right in the chest as he bent in his head to confirm if Chike was dead or not. Chike pulled the guy in after he shot him, using the guy as a body cover. The 2 other guys immediately started sporadic shooting at the car, but Chike already used the first guy as body cover. He remained calm underneath the dead body, counting the bullets as they shot at his car. Shots hit the fender, broke the headlights. He was aware that there were 2 shooters. He was counting for 2 handguns. The shots stopped. Either they were out of bullets or they wanted to check if he was dead or not. He knew one of them was out of bullets, and he didn't hear anyone reloading just yet. He lay flat on the passenger side of the car. His body cover was still on top of him. They stopped shooting as one of the guys ordered the last guy to confirm if the target was dead. The 3rd guy's arm was firm on the trigger, trying to be fast in case anything came up. He was moving slowly towards the car, walking in small steps carefully. He got to the driver's side of the car with the door open. The killer was paralyzed with fear. He looked into the car. He saw his friend lying dead with several bullet holes in his body. The fear in him didn't allow him to see that there was another body underneath his friend's body due to the frame of the dead assassin. Being a sharpshooter, Chike slid out a bit underneath dead body and fired the bullet into the forehead of the second assassin. At this point, the 3rd assassin lost for options and decided to make a run. He heard faint sounds of foot stomping in a fast motion. Chike pushed off the dead body he was hiding underneath, came out of the car. His clothes were soaked with blood and he had few cuts himself, but the majority of the blood was from the guy he used as body cover. His strength was depleted. The feeling of weakness was setting in quicker than he imagined. He struggled out of the car. He saw the 3rd guy fleeing away, took a direct shot at the hand with the gun. Chike brought his hand down and targeted his leg, fired another shot into his leg. The 3rd assassin fell in his stride. He was trying to make a turn into an adjoining street, dragging himself on the ground, still trying to make a run. He walked towards where the assassin fell. He was in serious pain. He didn't know which one to touch to stop the bleeding, either his leg or his hand. As he approached the last assassin, he noticed his left leg was aching him. He saw a blood stain. Something from the car must have cut his leg. He knelt beside the assassin, looked at the assassin and removed the face marks off him. He saw a young man of roughly about 29 years old, huge frame, about 6'3" with rugged looks. He knew he would die. He looked all over the last assassin from head to toe and then saw a gold Rolex on his left hand. He didn't know what to think anymore. An assassin with gold Rolex? He turned his body frame to the other side to remove the wristwatch. A bullet hit the 3rd assassin in the right part of his chest. A perfect example of missing death by whiskers. He knew the bullet was for him and he narrowly dodged death. He looked around, saw someone fleeing from the top of a building on the same street. He didn't bother himself. He removed the Rolex wristwatch and made for the assassin's phone, took both of them and noticed a custom message at the back of the wristwatch that said, "Happy birthday, Chesson." Chike knew no other people were plotting to kill him rather than those involved in the new assignment he had gotten just less than 3 hours ago. He had a lot of questions to ask. 1:30 a.m. Iyano Ipaja area. Yusuf wasn't new at this. However, he was tensed. They hadn't done any stealing as much as this before. The thought of 8 tankers being loaded tonight was making him uncomfortable. The police weren't the problem. Dano had them in his pocket. He was wondering when he started growing a conscience. He lost all hope in Nigeria when his father died in service and he never received his gratuity for another 5 years. He was waiting outside the fenced area. The building inside the fence was a gigantic warehouse structure. The warehouse, however, is a makeshift pure water facility. He was feeling a bit uneasy. He smokes longer anytime he feels tense, puffing out the smoke in the cold night. Sheon came out of the gate. Yusuf was standing outside the gate to pose as security. Sheon came out and saw Yusuf smoking beside the gate. Yusuf asked in anxiety, "Sheon, how far now? When you go finish now? Seun replied, Ogbeni, calm down, Joe. Now today we don't do this thing. Yusuf replied, I know, Joe, but not 8 tankers. Seun replied, Yusuf, now the same way we do the others, Joe. Just chill abeg. Yusuf replied, make una sha do quick. Seun went back into the warehouse and 15 minutes later ran out to help Yusuf open the gate of the warehouse. 8 oil tankers drove out of the warehouse. Yusuf and Seun and 4 other guys got into an SUV and disappeared into the night. Seun brought out his phone and sent a text to Lano. All the trucks are loaded and we are heading to Porto Novo. Lano bought this land some years back due to the information he had and also verified that the NNPC pipeline passed through the land. He and his other partners had vandalized the pipeline to steal several barrels of Nigeria's oil with the knowledge of some highly placed NNPC staff.